side, and it's plucked away by Looney on cue, leaving it for Alford, who's an excellent three-point shooter.
Well, UCLA, as this season has gone on, have kind of found themselves, who they are. Looney and Parker were both hurt in the summer, and so they didn't really know what they had to start the year, and their offense didn't run as smooth as it does now, and I think part of that is they're going inside more as Hamilton knocks down the jumper, and it's given them better balance, better floor spacing, and Parker's delivered on a lot of nights down on that box.
Jacobs cuts to the cup, lays it up and in on a retreating defense, and
Looney not on the bench, so they must be evaluating him elsewhere.
Now Julian Jacobs can get into
the one game these two teams played on February 22nd.
Goodman hits 1 and 2, the sophomore from Philadelphia. Jacobs negotiates his way to the cup, splits a pair for ASU, 16:27 to go, second quarter. Holder's only attempted the one field goal attempt in this game.
But for even if you don't make it or you're not confident shooting that shot, if Jacobs gets
Curry-like.
Yeah, it was. And that's what guys like Barnes do for you. When they're the floor spacer, you get a lot of back cut action.
Jake, foot injury back on January 24th. Barnes triggers a three and missed it. Clark comes down with a rebound. Of course, there is a big difference between what Justice does in his kind of game and Holder. Jacobs drives.
They stay tight to them.
Gilling missed the three. He's yet to catch fire. Jacobs up in the front court. Drives it, scoops it, laid it in. USC has now pulled.
Ball, and Gilling just did it. Let the first one go. Tells me that that shot tells me that Arizona State is gripping right now and shell-shocked by this run that USC's gone on to get the lead from them.
Jacobs settles the floor, gets a high screen from Jovanovic. Weaving his way to the cup, laid it up, off the back rim and in.
In his first year playing, but his second year on campus, he's a sophomore from here in LA.
Well, he got the short end of the stick from the NCAA rules and regulations. And if they would only make the rules applicable to everyone across the board, he would have been out there last year.
Jacobs with the basket.
Underdog stories. Well, it's easy to beat a power team.
Here's Powell for three, not there. Rebound, Jacobs, we're inside a minute to go.
Best rebound of the night for USC, Julian Jacobs.
And they get into the basket. This is Jacobs.
Bryan will cover up his own mistake, throw it off the glass, and Jacobs flushes it with the... Stewart saves what would have been a USC turnover. Jacobs on the glass and timeout.
But I think that's what puts it over the top for me versus Altman, is it's a new program. So not only you had nothing coming back, you're building your new system, new way of doing things, and that's hard to happen as a junior, being maybe an NBA player to a lottery pick based on a senior year.
Reinhardt to Jacobs, who adjusts for the lay-in.
By Compton, California, knocks that one down. Well, that was a bad shot. That was a bad shot. Maybe looking for some contact. Devontae Lacey.
Yeah, but he's not going to come out.
And Julian
Tate matchup. They do a really nice job of that.
Jacobs around a couple of screens, attacks the basket, and gets right around Hawk in Las Vegas. Oh, careless with the basketball. Here comes Jacobs. Don't complicate matters. Jacobs crossover, floater in the lane, not there. Gets his own rebound. Contact, not there. Rebound taken, still not there. Hawkinson missed it. Here comes USC, 4-on-2 with numbers. Jacobs rides it up and in.
Distracting.
Yes. Stewart missing in transition.
It's not the act that's distracting you. It's that you now want to see what the act is.
Absolutely. It's the knowledge there is an act. Nice drive and scoop. I've been laughing. We both look at 15 years old.
Is that right?
But he was 30 when he actually was hurt. Was 30, but he looked like 15. Jacobs, nice play by you. Of 22.
But yet only down 4.
Jacobs got in the paint.
Under control.
Physical fitness, his stature, his sense of confidence. It's just infectious the way he comes out here and just outwork everybody for 2 solid hours.
Nice Nice little runner that dances and then
D-League, and it's happening. Patrick's son, who's running the D-League, the son of Rick's son, the longtime NBA executive. I mean, just so many perfect people.
Oh, nice little move in the lane. Julian Jacobs.
And all the things they do on and off the court just epitomizes what the Conference of Champions is all about.
Wow, Julian Jacobs, that's a heck of a play. He kicked that ball ahead and still
doesn't have a ton of experience, and we saw Utah go through that the last couple of years. Good at home, but not good on the road. But in year 4 under Larry Krskoviak, now they're starting to have success on the road, and I think it's just a process that Oregon State's going to have to go through.
The Beavs are by no means eliminated from NCAA tournament contention. In fact, their fan base would like to think their chances are pretty solid, but the RPI, the BPI advantage that Wayne Tinkle and Malcolm DeBivier, who misses here, and the Beavs have, they went to MGM and played 2 neutral site games. They lost to Oklahoma State and Auburn back in November. Dipping in is Julian Jacobs. Back in the mid-'80s, mother a graduate in Corvallis as well. You know, Dolan and these other walk-ons, we talked about the big group that they're bringing in recruiting-wise next year. In the pros, it'd be like a one-year contract equivalent, right? You know, no guarantee for your future, but they have served the Beavers well this season. Maybe. Gavrilovic got in the passing lane. Jacobs with speed to burn, and he beats the buzzer. With their point guard, McLaughlin, missing in action today. Here's a backcourt steal. 3-on-1. Jacobs fakes the pass. Did you see Andy? A 3-ball wouldn't hurt. Peyton got one step ahead of himself. All Trojans ahead. Elijah Stewart off the glass. Jacob
Cast it, I reffed, and I coached the same time, and we won.
By the way, you mentioned it's Bill Russell's birthday tomorrow. Did you know that your buddy Thomas Edison is his birthday today?
Oh, don't worry.
You got plenty of info on that?
Plenty of info. Thomas Edison.
He didn't have to go there now. I just wanted to at least share that with you. Jacobs with the basket, and it's the second field.
Writes his memorable story, calls it Evangeline, about this whole saga of the Acadiana Indians there. It's just absolutely special. He calls it Evangeline. Jerry Garcia then comes and writes a song about Evangeline.
Back to the game. Oregon with 4 losses to ranked teams.
What did we miss?
And
it's not a radio broadcast, please.
Although you tend to try to make it one. We could take calls if you want.
Dave, here's from outer space.
Jacobs, nice hang and score, and that ends a 6-0 last year.
What was Joe's winning percentage last year? I know 2 years ago he was 100%.
I don't know. He's right in the high 90s.
Okay. If Joe says it, I'm right.
3-point chance as Julian Jacobs in all these games, and despite being woefully outshot, they have a chance, and they've been a very good second-half team. They're outscoring their opponents in the second half this year, despite winning just 9 games. And here they come on the breakaway, and a good start with Jacobs getting the digits for Oregon. Reinhardt continues to struggle, but an offensive rebound by Clark, and a 3 by Jacobs that goes. It's only his.
I don't know why he has to yell at me about SportsCenter. I enjoy it immensely.
I think it's because he wants you on SportsCenter. 76-69, Oregon leading.
Nobody could possibly want that in their worst dream.
USC had a chance a couple minutes ago to cut it to 5, but they missed free throws. Had a chance here in the lane. Jacobs, good. 76-70. He's here in the second half. For the game, they're 4 of 15. They have not beaten Oregon since 2009.
That's 9 straight.
Good basket there. Julian
Jacobs to USC. And now Pat Hayden at the reins, steering the ship.
Basket by Julian Jacobs.
Here comes McLaughlin, a team-high 9 points in the first half for USC. Jacobs downtown.
This crowd is silent.
It is. Wallace turns it over. Jacobs, reverse flush. Matthews, a turnover. Miscommunication with Wallace. Here comes Jacobs, and jump shot
just a couple of possessions before, and I like the confidence. Go right back to it, and if they're not going to guard you, take it.
He's been wide open a number of times tonight. Clark runs into a roadblock. Foul there, and counted. Julian.
Good set play, cross screen by Utah. Julian Jacobs, the floater in the lane, finally in leverage. Long on a three, and Jovanovic clears for USC. Julian Jacobs attacks. Gets to the basket with the first points of the second.
With Stewart, he's the guy that's been catching most of the attention.
Long rebound taken by USC. Here is Jacobs going all the way home, and he scores it. He's got 41 tonight. 3-point lead for Colorado. USC with 30 seconds to play in triple OT. Jacobs strong to the rack, and he gets it to go.
Trying to throw over the top, a little miscommunication.
Great pass.
Finish it off, and SC back quickly, and Jacobs.
And Benson and Rory, the two freshman guards, can shoot it and score it. That's an added bonus for Dana Altman.
Jacobs will raise the three, and he answers. Jovanovic barrels in against Bell. Nice challenge.
Ooh, nice. There's a failed block off right there. You basically have 8 guards on the floor with the 2 bigs, so your matchups are not a problem for anybody.
Marchetti trying to shake Brooks. Nice handoff. Jacobs 15 to shoot. Reinhardt the catch and shoot 3 in and out. Jacobs great recovery. The putback was denied by Bell. Again, USC within 3 with possession.
Yep, still 3.
Jacobs hangs, punts, and scores. Cook makes it a 9-point lead. 49 seconds remaining, and Jacobs up the floor quickly. Straight line drive to the rack, laid it in.
Yep. So like Brooks, who's a double-figure scorer, have kind of a quiet game, but still be able to do the things that he does.
SC up the floor, 38 seconds remaining. Jacobs will go right to the rim.
Third straight conference win and go to 3-2.
Craig Sherman is the curator of the Intergalactic Bill Walton Museum, headquartered in Montgomery, Alabama.
Just letting that sit. Nice move by Julian Jacobs.
With the jumper, as the shot clock winds down, you got to get the ball in their hands.
Already 6 for Stefan Mastic. Jacobs the floater, and Julian Jacobs first point.
And penetrate, post up, and he comes with a 3-ball too.
High school teammate of Shabazz Muhammad. And also Ben Carter started his college career at Oregon, is now at UNLV.
Shooting all the shots Shabazz wouldn't let him get back in high school.
Julian Jacobs a 3.
I got to tell you, Rox, I am impressed. This is where you see experienced players, last few possessions of the half, you want to finish strong. Go in on a high note.
Stanford is led by as many as 10. Julian Jacobs open. Nails a 3.
That's how you want to.
Christian Sanders finds Verhoeven. Rattles out, and the rebound, Malik Martin for the Trojans. Julian Jacobs attacks. To the basket, flying through the key is Jacobs.
Rox, one of the things, like I said before, that impresses me is you see the steal right there, the open court, the anticipation, and the jam.
Julian Jacobs. Pull up from Elijah Stewart. Fighting for the rebound, the Trojans get it back. Jacobs to the basket. And 1 for Julian Jacobs.
Matthews picking up where he left off in his previous 2 games. He was coming off a 24-point effort against Washington State at 31 before that.
You just want to see signs of improvement from game to game.
Foul on Kravitz, the first on the Golden Bears. Jacobs with the runner in the lane, and he uses the glass. 11.
Yeah, and we should point out Wallace is left-handed, but he really does finish well with that right hand, and it's certainly something he's developed along the way. Loves to go right. And as we said, Wallace is a guy that can get it going in bunches, and Cal's going to need every bit of it.
He has scored in double figures in all 16 games this season. Nice pass from you.
It's unbelievable. Those are second-half numbers. That was a quick leg. Again, every game for Andy Enfield is an opportunity to see signs of improvement. Let's see how we're going to improve. You see Jacobs trying to take advantage of the smaller defender, and he does.
Still with Rick Pitino. then 5 years as an assistant under Leonard Hamilton at Florida State before he got his first head coaching opportunity at Florida Gulf Coast, and I would say he made the most of that opportunity.
You look at Rick Pitino, Calipari. That's a good finish by Jacobs.
Reality in the neighborhood. Jacobs will bring it in bounds. Jovanovic will take the handle, and Stewart works with it on the wing. Jacobs, the one dribble attack, tripped up. Nice play through the contact. Jovanovic has a little one on him, takes Talton in deep, spins away from pressure, laid it up, tipped up and in, a look type action. Here's Jacobs into the lane. He got bumped, but he kicks into the corner. Marchetti for three. Jacobs, great recovery. How alert was that to Johnson, and he does the rest. The X factor with a two-hand flush.
USC went from a press back to a zone. Xavier Johnson lurking low behind the defense. So as soon as he got the basketball, one power dribble, he had the advantage to the rim.
Buffaloes have not seen a lot of zone thrown at him this year, so probably a good look.
You go down here, you score two, let's say you get three. It's a 13-point game, and psychologically for Colorado, it feels a lot different. It feels like, oh, here we go, we're losing a 20-point lead, and you start playing the mind.
He gets his basically a lot of energy and effort points and hustle baskets.
Good work by Julian Jacobs. Ahead to McLaughlin, 5 seconds on the clock. He missed the layup. The follow-up, though, goes by Jacobs.
Yeah, see, I like it when I cue the guys up and they make me look good.
Eight points now for Bracott Chapman. Jacobs heavy on the dribble, but he's able to finish with the ring.
But that was one of the, the issues for Coach Larry Kukobiak coming into the season is he wanted to make sure he played his younger players more and didn't burn out, his main guys and make sure he was able to build on that. And that's the way you build programs. You get your young guys experience. So next year when Wright is gone, now you have guys that are really able to step in to be able to perform.
Here's a steal by Jacobs.
That's the way you pay it off. This is being to ranked teams up until that Bakersfield game on Sunday.
Those pesky teams from the America East, something that Andy Enfield's dealing with tonight. Vermont making the cross-country trek here to Southern California. And after a very shaky offensive start, right back in this game here. 3 free throws by Cam Ward. It's a 2-point game.
I think they've settled in, and this is the way they want the game. They want it more of a half-court game than SC.
What a finish.
Clark backs his way in on Odia. And the rebound swatted by McGarity, and Reinhardt keeps it alive. Reinhardt guarded by Brown. Penetrates, kicks out, and knocking down. Brown for three. Rebounded in traffic by Jovanovic, knocked away. And here's Jacobs the other way. Jacobs right down the lane, switched hands.
Darius Perkins got a nice bounce. Trapped.
What's with the bounces today?
I know there's two you don't normally see, right? 32-25 SC. Utah State's never led. Julian Jacobs picks it up and throws it in.
Are you going to give the ball to McLaughlin and let him close this game for you? Put it in his hands?
How about that?
Got to be able to get the ball inside, and if you're not going to get it inside, you've got to set high ball screens to open up something going to the basket.
Payne's got the only basket for Loyola Marymount in the last 10.5 minutes now. Jacobs switching.
Drive. You got to see the shot clock. That's your job. You're the leader on the floor. Get that ball back. Drive. Make something happen.
And you bring up a great point. Evan Payne is being groomed not just as a player, but as a leader.
And there's a lot of things about that you just can't teach. You either have or you don't.
Jacobs right to the line in that latest win that they had against UC Riverside. Ball is tapped out, and here come the Trojans. Jacobs runs it, reverses it in, and he is fouled.
Good back cut, aggressive take to the basket, and then way to meet the ball at the rim.
And then the alley-oop for Loyola Marymount now. It's a two-pointer.
As it's slapped around, here comes McLaughlin, leads a 3-on-1. Jacobs, another slam.
The lob to Jacobs from McLaughlin. Corner, Delaney, and that won't go. And no white jersey near the rim for the rebound. Stewart's been quiet. Greenwood got a hand on it. Eight on the shot clock. Jacobs, and he finally gets a roll.
And then Cal's going to be on our air right after.
Mistake.
Freshman McLaughlin. Jacobs on the drive. And the floater for the baseline.
Need to clean up here in November and December.
Moses Morgan. Can't get that one to go. Darian Clark the rebound for USC. It's 5 rebounds already for Clark. Jacobs coast to coast.
He's good for the win here.
On the road, I would think about it. Driving the key, Aaron Johnson throws it up. He was looking for a foul. Jacobs reaches back the other way, puts the emphatic.
Center will be Charles Jackson. Charles Jackson's from Sacramento. They have 2 guys on their team from California, so they have friends and family in the house. The other guy that we talked about at the top, Dwan Caldwell, is actually from L.A. and played high school about 15 miles from the Galen Center. SC going to Julian Jacobs, first time down.
You know, the young guys, and don't forget, a lot of these guys have never played together, so you kind of come out in your first game, and they ran into a very good Portland State team that only made 4 turnovers on the way for the whole game.
Tennessee Tech don't even want to shoot that.
Yeah, they're not too reticent looking to shoot it. Now there's the trap. They really worked on that at practice. Good job that time by the Trojans.
McLaughlin finds Julian Jacobs in the corner. That's a 3. Okay, a shelter for kids and held a basketball camp. And Steve Payne admitted, he said, I put him in a hotel with no air conditioning. I wanted these guys to suffer just a little bit, playing 2 games a day, doing camps, doing community service. Wanted to bomb them a little bit.
Well, and they had a good trip. I think they won 4 or 5.
They sure did
on that trip.
Julian Jacobs.
How do you like